The Life and Confessions of a Hypnotherapist Life Coach, episode 6. It's Sunday afternoon, about 3 o'clock. I've just been out for a nice bit of dinner. Don't worry, I know I'm driving, I'm not going to stare at the camera for ages. I worked today till 1 o'clock. I had 4 clients, and then obviously Sundays are very important. Maybe they're family time for you. Obviously some people go to church, so if that's your thing and you believe in God or you follow something, good for you, you know. You can fit this life in around you. I like to work on a Sunday morning, and I kind of go to my own church. My own church is the Church of Freedom of No Concern, and I kind of have that faith in me, really. A lot of people will often say to me, how do you hypnotise someone? What if I can't be hypnotised? And I think there's that fear of someone controlling you, isn't there? And I like to tell people that I can't control you, but you can control letting go. And anyone can be hypnotised as long as they want to be hypnotised. So if you've got a problem you want to fix, you would want to be hypnotised. And also as long as you're not drunk, because that makes it a little bit difficult. And how do we do that hypnosis? What we do is we learn to sort of change our voice, change the mood, change the feeling in the room. And what we want is that the person goes into a nice kind of deep trance. Now, I personally don't agree with doing a monotone voice. So you hear some hypnotherapists have a very sort of mono voice. I like to use expression in my voice. I like to talk quite normally at times, but what I will obviously do is at some point start to soften my voice, go a little bit quieter, a bit more relaxed, and I like to make it very deliberate, you know. And I'll say to them in the first stages of the hypnotic speech that I do, you might notice that my voice has become a little more deliberate, a bit softer, a bit more relaxed. You'll notice that there are pauses between my words, a bit like the pauses in life where you just sit back and reflect. And what you'll know is that some of my words sound softer. I like to make it sound like I've just smoothed the edges off the words, so I soften the words. And then obviously I pause in between words, and the reasons we pause is because what we want is, if we want to give a suggestion, we give the suggestion on the inward breath. So you're kind of watching your client's breath. You've checked the various stages that we would teach you of how to know that they're in a kind of a trance state, to know that they're there. And then as you start to give suggestions, you will just, when you want to give a suggestion, you will just slightly change your voice. So did you hear the way I said suggestion? There was a pause. And it's like if I'm talking to, say, a weight climb, I might talk about, you know, the difference between a pear and a pastry, don't you? And I might just change that suggestion at that moment so that they hear that, so it sort of stands out. Because hypnosis is a bit like a time in your life when someone's given you some information, a suggestion, some advice, and it's stuck in your mind. Do you ever remember that, when someone in your life said something to you, good or bad, and it's stuck in your mind for like 20 years? It was because at that moment you was ready to receive and accept a suggestion. And all we need to do is to be able to accept it. And if it's right, we will accept it. We can reject anything we don't like in hypnosis, but obviously when someone wants to work with you and they want to work on something, they'll trust that you know what you're doing, that you're going to give them the right suggestions. Some of the suggestions are just very direct, some of them are indirect. I might say at the end of a hypnosis session, you might forget to remember this, or remember to forget, but what you won't remember is, and what I'm doing is I'm seeding amnesia, because I might want the client not to remember what I've told them in the session, and then that will work just as well, because they'll start to act on what I've told them without really knowing what was said, you know. And there's a lot of conversational hypnosis as well, because when we're in a one-to-one situation with a client, we're very much in line with each other, we're in touch, and it's quite intense in the room. So if I said to, say, a weight client that really what I want you to think about is choices, and I might just put that word choices in the air like a visual anchor. We call it an anchor. And did you notice how I just changed my voice slightly and just softened it and put that word out there, choices? Because we can use visual kind of anchors and do things in the room just to make something stick in their mind. So I think the conversational part of the hypnotic session is just as important as the hypnosis itself. So there's so much to learn, but it's so exciting, you know, because if you think about it as well, if you were hypnotizing people 5, 6, 7, 8 times a day, and to hypnotize someone, you have to go into a very relaxed state yourself. You're kind of in trance yourself, because what you do is you align yourself with the client, and you match their breathing, and as you start to slow down, they start to slow down, you know, and they can tell that you're in a similar sort of relaxed state because they respond to you. And imagine doing that 6, 7 times a day. How chilled out are you going to be? Seriously, so chilled out. And that's why generally my baseline state is very chilled, very relaxed, because that's what I want in life. So, you know, I'm sure you want it too, right? Okay, so this was day 6, Sunday, and I'll just check in with you one more time tomorrow, and then I won't bother you after that. I just wanted you to kind of get an idea of the life and how it is and what we do, and just get a real sense of it. If you're interested in learning some of this stuff yourself, come along to one of our weekends. Nice speaking to you. Speak to you tomorrow. Well done. See you later. Well done. See you later.